Welcome to our monthly painting tutorial from Pop Shop America. Today I'm going to show you how to paint a gorgeous array of seashells with watercolor. It's beginner friendly and perfect for summer. This tutorial is for our Let's Paint Together subscription box that you can find at popshopamerica.com, but you can follow along using your own supplies. All you need is watercolor. You can use a dry palette or a liquid watercolor, either is fine. A set of colored pencils, especially blue, orange, brown, white, and green to mimic the color of seashells and the color of the water. You'll also need good quality watercolor paper, watercolor paint brushes. I prefer a 6, 8, 10, and 12 with a rounded tip. You will also need some water and a paper towel for rinsing and drying your brushes. If you're right-handed, start in the upper left, just like you would when you're writing, and make a series of teardrop-like shapes. We're going to layer and layer the watercolor to build the image of a seashell, so start with mostly water and just a small amount of pigment on your brush. Continue to add water to your brush to create the outline of your seashell or your teardrop shape. Focus on just creating the outline and blend a touch of the pigment through the inside of your teardrop shapes. For the color, you can use blue or green or a mixture of the two. You can use orange, yellow, and brown. All of these will give your seashells a natural look. Vary the size and the overall shape of each teardrop. You can even create seashell shapes that continue off the page. Notice how with each seashell, we're blending a bit of purple and green or blue and brown together to give each seashell vibrancy. This will help your finished seashells look more dimensional. Next, I made some starfish shapes. Once your outlines are done, allow your watercolor to dry for a few minutes so it doesn't smear as you work from top to bottom and left to right again. Use your smallest watercolor brush to create the ridges of the seashells. For this, you want your watercolor to be slightly darker and more concentrated. You can also make the edge of your seashell more natural shaped. Take this time to make each seashell unique. Some seashells can be darker or lighter. Some can have purple tints to certain areas. Other seashells can have a spiral shape. None of your lines need to be perfect. None of your teardrop shapes need to be perfect. Because we're going to continue to layer the watercolor, everything you paint is still a work in progress. Once you have a few layers of paint, use colored pencils to add detail. Colored pencils are a perfect addition to watercolor because as watercolor is perfect for abstract, soft, and muted images, colored pencils are perfect for capturing detail. Use the colored pencils to darken the exterior lines of the shells and refine the ridges. You can also shade the edges of the shells to bring them to life. When you are using the colored pencils on the starfish, make a series of dots because starfish are full of tiny spines. Once your seashells are done, let's create a background as if the seashells are resting on the ocean floor. I'm using one of my larger brushes for this step. The way I'm painting is called a wet on wet technique. If you don't know what that phrase means, watch our video linked in the upper right to learn all the basic watercolor brush techniques. It's really fun. The wet on wet will help add more variation to the darks and lights and mimic the look of the water. Make sure to use an array of blue and green paint. Continue to add water to your pigment as you work around the seashells so that the water is lighter and becomes more of the background of the image and the seashells move to the foreground. And voila, here's the gorgeous watercolor seashells painting finished and ready to hang. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe to follow along for more craft and painting tutorials from Pop Shop America. You can also shop this kit. The link is in the description below, and we have a ton of helpful resources for this project as well. Happy crafting!